Thank you, Mr. President. I rise with great pleasure today to support the termination of Pregnancy Bill 2020 and associate the remarks of my honourable colleague Mark Parnell and the Honourable Ian Hunter in congratulating the Marshall Government for allowing this debate to happen. Indeed, the mover, the Minister for Human Services, the Honourable Michelle Lensing, has brought this to us in private business time, but with the resources that have been afforded this bill and the substantial body of work and research that have been afforded to this bill by ministers that did not stand in its way. And I particularly also congratulate the leadership here of the Attorney-General. This bill comes before us, of course, as a result of the Sowry recommendation. That Sowry report, which is an extensive tome of October last year that we've all had at our disposal, couched and... There's a couple of conversations
that are interrupting the honourable member, and I'd ask that she be heard in silence.
That Sowry report, of course, will be a great resource for us as members of parliament on what is a difficult conscience issue and what for many members will be one of the first times they've had to consider a bill in great detail that is actually quite a substantial piece of legislation that will have impact on many lives in South Australia. So I thank the leadership of the Marshall Government for getting us to this place. Will come as no surprise to members of this council that, given I brought a decriminalisation bill for abortion to this place in 2018 following the state election, with the hope that it be referred to Sowry for that extensive work to take place and that research to take place, that I am very supportive of the intention to decriminalise abortion in this state. This bill before us does that. It removes abortion from the criminal law. It also removes the gestational limits for surgical termination, and that is in line with those Sowry recommendations. It removes the requirements for unnecessary and obstructive barriers to access abortion in this state. Indeed, should you not be a resident of this state, you have to wait 2 months before you qualify for that medical care. That is an extraordinary imposition on people's lives when they are making a very difficult decision. And for those who say that they don't want abortion to happen later, well, the removal of the 2-month barrier, that waiting time, should be warmly welcomed by those people, but I've actually yet to hear them warmly welcome that great initiative and move forward here. Basically, this bill, very simply put, ensures that we treat abortion as healthcare and regulate it in health legislation rather than keep it in the criminal code, where we have lawful access to abortion, and quite proudly we have public funding and excellent health services in this state. But the doctors and the medical professionals and the people who are pregnant have to tread lightly around a series of lines that we as a parliament 50 years ago drew, that puts barriers such as that 2-month waiting period for non-residents, that puts barriers such as having to be in a prescribed hospital to receive early medication abortion of 2 pills over a series of 2 or 3 days in their way, forcing rural and regional women in particular to have to travel hundreds, if not thousands, of kilometres simply to access something that, should they live just the other side of the border, they could potentially access via telehealth or indeed at their local clinics. But in South Australia, we make those people travel inordinate amounts of distance unnecessarily, in fact putting them at risk as they miscarry on their return home, requiring them to find care for other children, requiring them to take time off work, potentially book hotel accommodation, indeed putting those financial barriers in their way as well. It is not good enough that we have allowed this 50-year-old law to exist, preventing those access to termination that we have deemed by this parliament to be lawful, that we have deemed by this parliament to be worthy of public support, But when it comes to the bureaucracy, we are happy to make individuals' lives as difficult as possible. This bill draws a line, and often in debates about abortion, there is much debate about where the line is to be drawn, and this bill does draw a line at that 22 weeks and 6 days. But the line I'd like to talk about today isn't that line where, at that point, it will be on medical grounds and indeed requiring that 2 doctors sign off. I would like to talk about the line that we have drawn as members of parliament, that it is us who know best, that is us in this parliament, rather than that woman and her medical team, that should make that decision. And the line that I would like to draw today is also that this parliament cannot anticipate every single experience that medical team and that pregnant person might find themselves with. The idea that somebody carries to 3rd trimester, a most likely much wanted child, has chosen a name, has painted the nursery, has picked up baby clothes and then is faced with a medical decision through to the advanced technology that we have, the scans and medical reports she may have received, that is probably the worst decision of her life. The idea that this parliament can understand and anticipate every single situation somebody in that terrible situation might find themselves is, I think, actually quite offensive. The line I want to draw today is that we finally start to trust the medical profession and we start to trust women. They are the experts in their own lives. They are the experts in that particular experience. They are the only ones actually able to make that decision. The decision we make with this bill is to empower the doctors and the pregnant person to make that decision given their set of circumstances. Quite simply, this is a bill that updates our 50-year-old laws that were once progressive, where South Australia had a reputation of respecting women's reproductive rights, of trusting doctors, and I hope that today is the first step in bringing us into the 21st century, becoming the last place in Australia to decriminalise abortion, but indeed drawing that line that we do trust women and their medical teams.
Ms. Bernard.